welcome everyone. I am so excited today. I'm talking about how the reprogramming work changed my whole life, and this is something that is like very, very near and dear and special to me. So as you're hopping on, drop some hearts down below, say hi, let me know where you're watching from, and if you're catching the replay, comment replay, okay? And this is all about the reprogramming work, and I'm really excited to share some of the transformations that came from this and some special ways that you can do this in your life as well, so that you can really start to shift the way you see yourself and the way you're showing up in the world, right? Because when we're looking at manifestation, when we're looking at creating the life and the business that we dream of, we have to understand how to reprogram ourselves to become that version of us who has that. Because the current version has a different level of consciousness, a different self-image, a different way of thinking, acting, being, okay? So again, say hi as you're hopping on, and before we get into the reprogramming, I'm gonna drop a link down below here to schedule in a clarity call. So if you are someone who is really keen to start doing this work and you want to really start reprogramming yourself for success, for abundance, for love, for all of the things that you dream of, and you're ready to feel worthy of having them, you're ready to manifest and bring them into your reality in a lot more of a flowy, enjoyable way, then all you have to do is click that link there. I've opened up a few spots for clarity calls, and these are where we can really dive in to set up an action plan for you and help you get there and help you understand, what kind of plan is necessary in order for you to really start reprogramming yourself to reach your current goals, okay? So coming into this reprogramming work, I want to share a story about where I used to be, because for those who don't know, there has been a massive shift in my life over the last, I'd say like the last five years specifically, but it started a little bit before that, where the reprogramming process really began. Because growing up, I was someone who was crazy insecure, super anxious, to the point where I made myself, I felt so sick before I played competitive sports. I would just be internalizing so much anxiety, so much panic, fear, doubt, and overwhelm, and so much unworthiness, feeling like I wouldn't be good enough, or fear of failure and letting people down. And so all of these different things were playing out in my mind, whether it came to school, whether it came to sports, and whether it came to, friendships or relationships, and just not feeling worthy. And the current programming I had at that time, if we're going to just totally break it down, the programming was really disempowered, right? I had a very unworthy kind of, as well as a victim. I felt like I was this small person, why me, and all these bad things that are going to happen to me. And I was kind of in this cycle where I just never felt good enough, and I never felt safe or positive around what was possible for me, and a really negative mindset at that time. And then I had my trifecta of struggles, which added to the programming and really reinforced the self-image that I had of being this helpless little girl who, life just happened to. Everything's just, why are these things happening to me, was what I kept asking myself. And this came from when I was 18, my brother passed away. Very soon after that, I was raped, and then very soon after that, I hit black ice, and I flipped and I rolled 4 times on the highway. And so the programming, the beliefs, and I use the word programming a lot because that's really what it is. Our minds are like a computer, and so they really just store information and hold on to it. So I was holding all these experiences, these traumas, these painful moments and memories, and it was really creating this energy of unworthiness of I'm not good enough, I must have done things wrong to deserve this. And it also created a lot of the stories of what I believed was or wasn't possible for me. So in my own experience here, I'm going to invite you to take a second and look at what is your current programming. What are the stories that you're telling yourself? Because for me at that time, I was telling this story over and over again of like, I'm not enough, I don't deserve good things, only bad things happen to me. It's not possible for me to manifest something better, like I just keep manifesting bad things. It's not possible for me to have the things that I want, right? It was just constant limiting beliefs and these insecurities and doubts playing out in my mind, okay? So that was where I used to be. And so in order to get to where I am now, which is having multiple businesses, I've traveled the world by myself for almost the last 8 years, on and off, working with tons of different coaches, mentors, healers, doing all these different certifications, manifesting some crazy things in terms of pretty much everything on my bucket list I've done now at this point at 29 years old. And this took a massive reprogramming to get there. Because as I said, the old version of me didn't believe I deserved it and didn't believe it was possible. And so what had to happen was really making that shift around what I wanted to believe to be true for me moving forward, right? Because we can give our power to our doubts and limitations, or we can give our power to our dreams and our future and what's possible for us and what we want to see in the world, right? Let me know if this is making sense. Let me know in the comments, and if you're catching this later on the replay, let me know as well. You can comment and say if it's making sense to you. Okay. I just realized I have like a weird puff of hair. And because of this light, it looks so strange. So you can comment down below and share if this is making sense to you, okay? So the reprogramming and shifting my self-image, because as long as I saw myself as the victim, as long as I saw myself as a powerless, kind of helpless being who didn't deserve the things that I wanted, I was going to continue to manifest and attract things that matched that, because we always attract that which we're being a level of, like whatever we're level with, whatever we're magnets. We literally have magnetite in our minds and in our hearts. So we're magnets to these things. And so if we're in that disempowered state, we're going to continue to magnetize that to us, right? And so in the process of reprogramming, recreating a new self-image, a new identity to shift into what I wanted to be true for myself, that's exactly what I had to do, okay? So if this is making sense, you're going to see in the comments there's a link down there, and I've opened up some spots for women who are wanting to do this as well, who would love to reprogram themselves for an easier, more enjoyable life and business, to be in a state of manifestation and really attracting in the things that you desire, and to start making an even bigger impact, feeling more confident, really hitting that next level version of you, then click that link and you can schedule in a time, and then there's an application form to fill out so that when we jump on that clarity call, we can dive straight into your exact situation, exactly what's been limiting you and holding you back, and how to reprogram yourself to be in alignment, to be an energetic match for those goals, so that they can just start coming in and it just becomes a natural part of your identity and a natural part of your reality, okay? So that link is there for that call. And when it comes to the reprogramming process, there's so much to it, which is why I'm going to try and keep this short, because I don't want to talk. I have a tendency to talk for a long time. But there's so many different parts and components that can go into the reprogramming process. Now, I personally break it down into 3 steps. And I also share about that inside a really in-depth training. So if you want the training, you can comment training, and I'll send you that after I finish this video. But the 3 steps, just quickly, are to release, right? We have to release the old programming, the current version of you, the current beliefs, the doubts, the, insecurities, maybe the traumas or the pains, the unworthiness, whatever is there that's holding you back and keeping you feeling a little bit smaller than you'd like to be, or keeping you feeling a little bit more insecure than you'd like to be, whatever it is, we have to release that first, right? We have to get a clean slate and remove that from your mind, your body, your soul, your life, just clear that stuff out so that we have a new place for step number 2, which is rebuilding and reprogramming. This is where we start to put in like the positive habits, the confidence, the positive mindset, because 95% of the mind is ruled by our subconscious, right? Our subconscious mind runs so much. And I think it's something like 80 to 90% of our subconscious is negative focused. So literally in our programming, just by having like a normal upbringing, whatever it is normally going to be negative. Okay, so we have to reprogram. Amazing. Thanks, Kara. We really have to reprogram into a more positive state of being in order to achieve these goals, in order to have the transformation or the life, the desires that you're working towards, right? You have to become that new version of you. And so that is the second part. And then the third part of the process that I teach is the realigning and the tapping in with your higher self. And this is where you start to really embody that next level version of you. You start to connect to the fact that energetically there is no separation from what it is you desire and who you are right now. We just need to, again, release the limitations, reprogram ourselves to see it and to be open to it. And then in that process, we can now start to really step up and show up and manifest and pull that stuff into our reality simply by becoming that full energetic match with the next level version of ourselves. So let me know in the comments if you're connecting, if this is making sense, right? So I shared my story and where I used to be. I had to really, really shift into and let go of all of the traumas, all of the pains, all of the limiting beliefs that I thought were true. And I thought like, this is who I am. But I didn't want to be her anymore. I didn't want to be carrying that or living in those cycles. So I had to do this 3-step process to become who I am now standing in front of you, right? It's this really big reprogramming, this big shift. But so often, people end up letting their current circumstances, their current beliefs dictate their reality. They believe this is just who I am and these are the things I've been through and like this is going to be carrying with me forever and so I'll just stay here. No. No, you have the power to shift that. You have the power to change that. Amazing. I'm so glad you're connecting. Awesome. It's good to have you here, Sky. So yeah, this is beautiful. This is the whole process, right? And so we go through that. Every single new level is that same process as well. So when I first started my business a few years ago, I had to really start to reprogram myself for business and like, okay, well, what does this look like? I don't know. This is all new to me. So who do I have to become? What do I need to release and let go of? What are the ways that I can reprogram myself? And then how do I realign with like Kara, the successful coach or the successful business owner? And then tap into that. The same process, the same 3-step process can be done in relationships. Maybe you've had a lot of negative relationships. And so you identify, you believe that this is who I am, this is all that's possible or all that I deserve. As long as you stay there, you'll continue to attract those things. But if you reprogram yourself to believe that you're like this different person, that you deserve so much better, you believe that it's possible, and if you follow the process to stay in that place, to really create those as your new beliefs for yourself, you'll start to attract situations that match that. And yes, of course, there's always moments where it falls back, or there's moments where you maybe catch yourself in the old programming, or there's times when you're in this process shifting where all of a sudden some of the old things still try to come in to see if you're going to fall back or if you're going to stay up here. Does that make sense? So like when I was shifting my beliefs with relationships even, I had so many negative experiences that it was really easy for me to believe like this is all that there is. And so as I started to reprogram and shift into what I wanted to be true for me, like I get to decide what's going to be true for me moving forward, and I no longer want that. So as I started shifting into this, I started to attract some amazing people and partners and experiences. And there were still some of those moments where like maybe those little people would try to sneak in with the old self. And it was the opportunity for me to see how I could either fall back into believing all of the old programming, all the old stories, or I could stay strong over here and be like, oh, hell no. No way. Like, I don't deserve this. I'm not letting this like take up space or energy. Like, this is not even coming into my field, right? And that was a huge part of the process as well. So it all comes in those steps. It's like a step-by-step thing. Excuse me. It's like a step-by-step process, but we have so much power when we do this and we do this reprogramming work. So I'm going to jump off, but if you are someone who really wants to start this, but you don't know where to start and you're ready to reprogram yourself even further for whatever it is, next level relationships, next level business, next level life, just for more confidence and happiness, then I've dropped a link in the comments there for a free clarity call with me. All you need to do is click the link, pick a time, and then there's an application form to fill out so that when we get on this call, I know exactly where you're at. We can dive right in and start creating an action plan for you on how you can do this in your own life as well. And there are only limited spots, so book it in soon. I'm also not going to speak to everyone. I just want to speak to those who I know I can help. So that's why that application form is super helpful. Okay, so that link is down there. I really hope this was helpful for you. And thank you so much for being here, for watching. And just realize, like, a last thing before I go is just remember you have the power to become whoever it is you want to be. So it always comes back to how you see yourself, what you believe to be true, and what kind of programming are you giving your power to, right? Are you going to keep giving your programming to the old self and that smaller self, or are you going to keep working towards who it is you want to be? What does that look like, feel like? How would you show up from that place, right? And so you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will hopefully, I think, see you tomorrow. We'll see. I'm taking off tomorrow. I'm heading to America for a couple days, so we'll see. But if I can, I'll hop on before I go. Bye now.